Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Saturday, everybody. Hope your day and your weekend have been going very well so far. Got a new day, which of course means a new MLB Player Prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money. I have 4 new MLB player props to go ahead and share with you guys in today's MLB slate. But first, guys, before we dive into today's picks, a quick little recap of how we did yesterday. And if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, we had a very, very good Freaky Friday yesterday. Jumping on over to GuyBostonSports.com. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we cashed our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay yesterday. The only one that was a tiny bit of a sweat was Nathan Eovaldi for a quick second, but then he absolutely blew through the line. Fantastic performance from all 5 pitchers involved. I do like that idea of sticking with one type of player prop for the parlay, so we'll try and do that next week as well. I don't know if we'll do strikeouts again, but I think that's a really fun idea. And obviously, ideas are more fun when you're winning. So really solid performance yesterday, plus 593 odds. Cash that parlay, huge hit. We definitely needed it. And I'm hoping that yesterday's cash gets us going a little bit of a hot streak here. So let's keep the momentum going into today's video. And if you guys can recall, the money gun hasn't really been working, and I've been lazy and need to get batteries. It really just needs a battery rechange. But we got to celebrate yesterday's cash. So here we go. In the club. Let's go, baby. Dollars, 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 dollars. Plus 593 parlay. We cashed that mother effer yesterday. We got 4 new player props coming your way today that I'm very excited about. You see all this? Let's do it all again today. Let's sweep again and make some more money. Let's dive right into today's picks. It literally looks like a damn strip club in here with the $100 bills everywhere. By the way, guys, we are going to go ahead and announce the winner later for the gift card giveaway. I'll go ahead and make sure to respond to the person in the comments from yesterday's video for the gift card giveaway. Make sure when I do respond to your comment, make sure, by the way, to check yesterday's video to see if I commented at you. Make sure to DM me on Instagram at TassosPicks. That's at TASOS Picks on Instagram, so we can go ahead and get you a gift card. Like I said, I'll announce the winner a little bit later on in today. I want to make sure I'm fair with how I go ahead and pick the winner. But all right, guys, new day, new player props. Our first player prop in today's video, it comes from the Marlins Brewers game, 7:10 p.m. first pitch. We got Eric Wagaman of the Miami Marlins under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. I'm personally grabbing this player prop for -120 over on BetMGM. As always, guys, this player prop is available on multiple sports books for varying odds. Make sure to shop around for the best sportsbook odds available to you. For me personally, we're grabbing it from -120 over on BetMGM. Eric Wagaman has cashed this under in 9 of his last 10 games, or to be more specific, 9 consecutive games he's cashed the under, averaging 0.3, just 0.3 hits, runs, RBIs per game over the last 10 games. Honestly, the last 9 games, he literally has just 1 hit in his last 9 games. 0 runs, 0 RBIs. Obviously, for Eric Wagaman, not what you want to see for him. If you're a fan of his, if you're a family member of his, or if you're Eric Wagaman yourself, you're probably not happy with your performance lately. But for us, when betting an under, we like what you're doing. Keep it up. But even if you go ahead and expand the data the last 20 games, it's still very solid. 70% hit rate, averaging 0.95 hits, runs, RBIs per game over the last 20 games. And looking at the entire 2025 season data, a 56% hit rate on the season. So not as impressive as the last 10 games or the last 20 games, but still pretty solid overall, averaging 1.58 hits, runs, RBIs per game this season. And the head-to-head data is very much relevant here. We have 4 recent data points for Eric Wagaman versus the Milwaukee Brewers. All 4 matchups are from this year, and actually from this same month. He's played them 4 times already in the month of July. He's cashed the under in 3 of those 4 games. Only once back on July 5th. He did have 1 hit and 1 run in that game, but pretty solid numbers. He's averaging just 0.5 hits, runs, RBIs per game this season against Milwaukee. And now if we jump over the dashboard over on GuyBostonSports.com, you can see some of the head-to-head data here. Jose Quintana, the pitcher for the Brewers in today's game. Now, versus right-handed hitters like Eric Wagaman, you see some decent numbers there, 243 batting average allowed. He's obviously been better versus left-handed hitters than right-handed hitters. Now, obviously, when you're betting an under bet here, seeing numbers in the red or even that yellow color, it's not exactly what you want to see. but I wouldn't necessarily call this a bad matchup. And also the Brewers bullpen is okay. So those are the two key categories you got to look at, the starting pitcher and the bullpen. It's all okay. Nothing great about that head-to-head matchup, but nothing bad necessarily either. Now, the key thing for me, beyond just the data I've already shown you for Eric Waggaman, is his numbers over the last 30 days. And you can see he's really struggled versus left-handed pitchers. He struggled in general, obviously, as you can tell by the numbers I showed you guys. But versus left-handed pitchers in particular, over the last 30 days, very much struggling. 158 batting average with a 358 OPS versus left-handed pitchers over the last 30 days. Now, if you did look at the overall data, Eric Waggaman actually has been a better hitter against left-handed pitchers than right-handed pitchers. He's batting over 250 on the year against left-handed pitchers. However, again, the more recent number is what we're looking at here, and he's been very bad, very, very bad of late against left-handed pitchers like Jose Quintana. So although the pitching matchup isn't exactly the best, I do think between Eric Waggaman's struggles of late, his overall numbers on the season, and you combine it all together, his struggles versus Milwaukee this year, for minus 120 odds, I think the value is certainly there. So that's our first player prop in today's video. For our second player prop in today's video, we're moving on to the Nationals-Twins game, 7:10 p.m. first pitch. We got Joe Ryan of the Minnesota Twins under 2.5 earned runs. Now, this player prop a little higher in the odds department. Now, typically when I'm betting single bets, I like to put the cap at minus 150. Over minus 150, to me, I consider that personally an alternate line. I'm making a bit of an exception here because I do like the player prop. I still think at a slightly elevated line, I think there's enough value here for a single bet, even if you throw an extra half a unit or quarter of a unit to make it more valuable. I'm grabbing it from minus 160 over on DraftKings. It is available on Caesars for minus 150, Hard Rock Bet minus 155 for those who have those sportsbooks available to you. But for me personally, I don't have Caesars here, nor do I have Hard Rock Bet. So DraftKings at minus 160 is what I'm grabbing it for. And the data for Joe Ryan is absolutely spectacular here. 8 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the under, averaging just 1.7 earned runs per game over the last 10 games. We look at the entire 2025 season data here for Joe Ryan. It's still absolutely fantastic. 79% hit rate, 15 of his last 19 starts, or 15 of all of his 19 starts this season, I should say. He's cashed this under. He's giving up just 1.63 earned runs per game this season. And if you want to go back to a more narrow view, he's cashed the under in 5 consecutive starts for the Twins. It'll be interesting to see if he stays in Minnesota past the trade deadline. I would love it personally. My Boston Red Sox can get him. They're not going to, but I would love to see that. It'll be interesting to see if Joe Ryan sticks it out in Minnesota or if the Twins end up dealing him by the deadline. Considering how well he's been pitching this year, would not be surprised to see a heavy contender go out and get him. Just please, God, do not send him to the Yankees. From a head-to-head perspective, he's played Washington once. However, it was last year, way last year, May 21st, so well over a year ago. He gave up 0 earned runs in what was a 10-0 win for Minnesota. He pitched 7 innings in that game, 0 earned runs given up, but again, well over a year ago, so a little bit outdated there. Now, referring back to the dashboard over on GuyBostonSports.com, again, you can see here a lot of green numbers here for Joe Ryan, having a fantastic season for the Minnesota Twins. What we're looking for here is the matchup against the Washington Nationals, and honestly, Washington has been hitting the ball very well of late. Over the last 30 days, they are the 10th best team in Major League Baseball in terms of batting average. Now, you go further into the statistics, there are a couple numbers that are not great for them here. OPS is in the bottom 10, ISO, slugging, all in the bottom 10, although OBP, they are top 10. So there's some categories they've shown they've actually been a better hitting team than most would expect of late, but there's still some worrying categories, which obviously when we're betting an under bet like we are, that's good to see. Narrowing it down versus right-handed pitchers like Joe Ryan, you still see kind of the same story. Top 10 in batting average. They do go up a little bit still in the OPS, ISO, and slugging. They're still bottom 10 in all those key categories, so that's good to see. The one key thing I like about this player prop, despite the fact that Washington has had success hitting of late, is the type of pitches that Joe Ryan utilized. Now, his number one pitch, the most utilized pitch, is the fastball. As you can see from this chart here on the left side of the screen, you see 52.8% of his pitches are fastball. So more than half the time, he's throwing a fastball here. Well, look at Washington this year, or actually I should say the last 30 days. The runs above average versus individual pitch types. And you see versus the fastball, over the last 30 days, they are the 4th worst team in Major League Baseball in terms of runs above average. Obviously, when you have a pitcher who has over 50% of his pitch arsenal is a fastball, and you see 27th in the league in terms of runs above average versus the fastball, That's very, very encouraging. And looking at the rest of his pitch arsenal, the second most used pitch is the slider, 21.2%. They actually have been very good, fourth best over the last 30 days versus the slider. So that's a little bit less encouraging, but you keep going down the line. Splitter is the third most, sinker is the fourth most. Look at them versus the splitter, 18th, sinker 20th. So as long as he kind of shies away from the slider a little bit, every other pitch he kind of utilizes, they struggle against. Curveball, dead last in Major League Baseball. He only utilizes the curveball 2.3% of the time. But the runs above average numbers versus pitch count, I think, is definitely worth looking at here. Yes, the Nationals have been hitting the ball better of late, but if we go back over to Outlier here and we look at Washington on a season perspective, they haven't been very good. They actually bottom 10 in all these key categories overall this year. They've just been on a pretty good run of late. I'm willing to overlook that just because Joe Ryan has been so good this year. Again, look at the numbers over here. Batting average allowed, 92nd percentile. ERA, 90th percentile. FIP, 88th percentile. WOBA, 93rd percentile. So really good numbers here. Again, minus 160. Don't necessarily love the odds there, but I still think there's certainly value to be had here with this player prop. That's our second player prop in today's video. All right, guys, we have 2 player props left in today's video. If you made it this far into the video, please comment 11 down below. We just passed the 11-minute mark. As always, guys, we appreciate those who watch through each and every single video here on the channel. It really does mean a lot to us. Myself, Ev, and Trey put a lot of hard work in these videos. So when you do watch all the way through, we appreciate you guys just a little bit more. So please go ahead and comment 11 down below so I can see who is still watching at this point in today's video. And let me know some feedback. Do you like how I've been going? I know the videos have been going a little bit longer lately. Personally, I get a little self-conscious when I see it's 20 plus minutes for 5 picks or 4 picks, but I like to go in depth on these player props because I feel like it gives you guys the necessary information to go ahead and make the smart choice if you want to tail, if you want to fade. So I like to go in depth with the data. I know it goes longer. It means we have lesser picks. Let me know how you like the flow of the video. Should I go faster? Should I go less in depth on these player props? Should I go more in depth? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. All right, moving on. We have 2 player props left. Both of those final 2 player props are coming from the Dodgers-Red Sox game tonight, 7:15 p.m. first pitch. Should be a fantastic game. We got Garrett Crochet versus Clayton Kershaw. So our third player prop, we're going, actually speaking of Garrett Crochet, we're going Garrett Crochet under 2.5 earned runs. We're grabbing this from minus 125 over on BetMGM. It's got a lot of different sports books for varying odds. But make sure to find the value there because BetMGM's minus 125, Caesars minus 130, DraftKings minus 155. So you can definitely find it for better value on other sports books if you go ahead and look around. And the numbers are phenomenal here on this player prop. 8 of his last 10 starts, Garrett Crochet has cashed the under, giving up just 1.8 earned runs per game over his last 10 starts. Looking at the entire 2025 season, an 86% hit rate on this under. 18 out of 21 starts, he's cashed the under, giving up just 1.57 earned runs per game this year. So phenomenal season for Garrett Crochet, his first season in a Red Sox jersey. I'm so happy he's in Boston. He's been phenomenal to watch this year. Even though the Red Sox have let him out to dry on many of occasions this year, he's been really fun to watch. Now, from a head-to-head perspective, again, a little bit outdated data. He was with a different team, and it was over a year ago back on June 24th, but he gave up 0 earned runs in that game against the Dodgers last year on June 24th as a member of the White Sox. So pretty good numbers there for Garrett Crochet. And if we go ahead and look at the insight provided by Outlier, just kind of going deeper into the numbers here. He's been very dominant of late at home. Now, this includes some games last year in Chicago with the White Sox, so take that with a grain of salt. Some of these home games are as a member of the White Sox, but 10 of his last 12 games at home, he's cashed the under. It's an 83% hit rate, giving up 1.42 earned runs per game over his last 12 home games. And if you go ahead and narrow that down to this year in Fenway Park as a member of the Red Sox, 7 of his 9 games pitched at Fenway, he's cashed the under, averaging 1.67 earned runs per game this year. So pretty good numbers across the board here for Garrett Crochet. Really solid player prop, honestly. Again, referring to the dashboard over on Guy Boston Sports, you see Garrett Crochet all green, minus a couple things in the walk rate category, but really, really phenomenal season he's having. We look at the matchup here versus the Dodgers. You see over the last 30 days, this is a Dodgers offense that has not been all that great. From an overall perspective, they're the second worst offense in Major League Baseball over the last 30 days in terms of batting average. You see the OBP, OPS, a lot of their numbers in the bottom 5 of Major League Baseball. Now, when you narrow it to left-handed pitchers like Crochet, you do get some better numbers. They've been better of late versus left-handed pitchers. You see the difference in OPS. They're 26th overall, 11th in the MLB against left-handed pitch. So much better numbers, right? ISO, top 3. Slugging, top 10. Batting average, still bottom 10. OBP, still bottom 10. So like I said, they're not a great offense of late versus left-handed pitchers, but definitely better than versus right-handed pitchers. Does that concern me? Still not that much, because we talked about already the data we showed previously with Crochet, mixed with the fact the Dodgers have struggled of late. I'm really not too concerned with the fact that they've been a little better versus lefties than righties, because again, a lot of those key data points are still on the low side. They've got a pretty high strikeout rate, low batting average, low OBP. Again, looking at the runs above average versus pitch type, Garrett Crochet heavily utilizes fastball and cutter. It's the two biggest pitches in his arsenal. You see the Dodgers over the last 30 days batting 23rd in terms of runs above average against the fastball versus the cutter, 16th. So a little bit better, but still in the bottom half of the league. He also utilizes the sinker and the slider. Slider, bottom 5. Sinker, they are bottom 11. So, really good numbers there. It seems to be a pretty good matchup at home in Fenway with the run that he's been on of late. The Dodgers obviously struggling a little bit offensively of late. For minus 125, definitely worth the value here for Garrett Crochet. That's our third player prop in today's video. And for our fourth and final player prop in today's video, guys, I'm taking to me, what's a very easy bet here. Again, sticking with the Dodgers-Red Sox game, we're going David Hamilton of the Red Sox, under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Again, minus 150 on BetMGM is what I can grab it for. You can find better value if you have Hard Rock Bet, minus 125. But minus 150 is what I'm grabbing it for. Again, take it from a Red Sox fan. This guy stinks. And obviously the Marcelo Myers injury causes him to get more playing time. It causes him to come up to the roster. He wasn't on the roster before the Meyer injury. He's now been called up onto the roster. And look, he's just been terrible. He's really not a good player. 8 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the under, averaging 0.8 hits, runs, RBIs per game over the last 10 games. So far this year in 2025, a 76% hit rate on this under, averaging 1.02 hits, runs, RBIs per game this season. So again, a lot of green there, which is good for us. But as a Red Sox fan, it's been infuriating when David Hamilton has played this season. So I just think his under is a really good bet here. You look at the head-to-head data against the Dodgers. Each of his last 2 matchups with LA, he's cashed the under. Now both those are from last year, so take it with a grain of salt. But he's had his struggles versus LA, and he's had his struggles in general. Look at the insights provided by Outlier. David Hamilton has failed to exceed 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs in 16 of his last 19 games, averaging just 0.74 hits, runs, RBIs per game over the last 19 games. That's an 84% hit rate on the under over his last 19 games, dating back to June. So really bad run for him, which obviously for an under bet is a good thing. And then looking down below at the matchup here. Now, David Hamilton versus left-handed pitchers on the season, he's batting 250, 58.1 WRC plus. It's only 13 plate appearances. And guys, if we go ahead and narrow the data down here real quick, versus left-handed pitchers, most of that, we'll go over the entire 2025 season. Most of that's in one game. 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 RBIs against the Detroit Tigers back on May 13th. That is what Outliers, you can go ahead and filter versus left-handed pitchers. A lot of that work versus left-handed pitchers came in one game, okay? He's not having a good year. 179 batting average overall, 35 WRC plus. Yes, he had one really big game that upped his numbers versus left-handed pitchers. But trust me when I say this, David Hamilton stinks. This guy stinks. And he's matched up with Clayton Kershaw, all pitchers. So even if you want to go ahead and look at the positive, right? Oh, well, he had some success versus left-handed pitchers. Okay, well, Clayton Kershaw is not just any left-handed pitcher. He's one of the greatest left-handed pitchers of all time. Even at this late stage of his career, he's still very solid. You see him versus left-handed batters this year, 2.02 ERA, 220 batting average allowed, 274 WOBA. Really phenomenal numbers here. David Hamilton, maybe he gets on base and maybe he gets a run in, but I don't see him doing a lot in this matchup versus the Dodgers. So that's our fourth and final player prop in today's video. All right, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. I actually will be back tomorrow. Now, don't get used to this because I typically don't like doing videos on Sundays, but I was on vacation for almost 3 weeks, over 2 weeks at least. My first week back, we missed a lot of time. I owe it to you guys to do a little bit extra. So we're going to do a video tomorrow. We're going to do a parlay tomorrow. Probably, I don't know if we'll do 5 legs. We'll do some variation of a parlay in tomorrow's video. Again, I don't typically do videos on Sundays, but I feel like I owe it to you guys after investing so much time from vacation. So we actually will be back tomorrow with another MLB player prop video. Until then, guys, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy your Saturday. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your fun. I will be back tomorrow. I don't know why I'm saying have a good weekend. But enjoy your Saturday. Have some fun. Be safe. But more importantly, let's go ahead and make some money. Hope you're all winners, guys. We'll see you back here tomorrow.